I'm the only white face in this area. You don't belong here. Stop, I'll shoot you in the back.
Unfortunately, I got a little nervous tonight because Copville was in the building, so I'm trying to compose myself.
Compose yourselves and get ready for another episode of Locked Up with Copville. I appreciate you guys tuning back in. First off, I'd like to say once again, condolences to Deputy Terry Sweeting's family. Terry Sweeting Mashcow. She was laid to rest yesterday. All the highlights of what an amazing person she was, amazing deputy she was, and everything about her was put on full display in a very nice funeral service that I attended, and well done. And to her family again, I will always be here. We have some things in store for Haley, and it's tragic. But having said that, I want to get into today's topic, something that's been bugging me as I've started to do more research in internal affairs and accountability and how the how administration handles complaints against deputies or people and then complaints against themselves. So today's episode was titled "The Elevator of Accountability Only Goes Down." It is extremely difficult to complain on a superior or the organization as a deputy or even a low-level supervisor. I know this from experience. Kind of like the large-scale government, we understand, like, oh, how are you going to complain on the president? How are you going to complain on a senator, a congressman? How are you going to complain on, X, Y, Z? It's a smaller level here locally or at local agencies, but it's the same problem. My order is you start at the bottom. You come in as a young police officer and you're told and you're given this false speech about family and brotherhood. And I said this a ton. I don't want to beat on that, but that's what happens. You're very young. Most cops are coming in pre-developed. They're still growing. They're only 19, 20, 21, 22. They haven't got it here. So they are looking to be part of some type of organization, looking to be accepted. The police job is very, very, it creates a very large amount of anxiety when you first start. Everything you do from the second you start this job is under a microscope. You go to the academy, everybody's watching you. You get out, you get to field training. You're being observed for every single move you make is being documented and watched and graded. And so every minute of your day for 12 hours a day, if you're in 12-hour shifts or 8 hours a day, is being looked at under a microscope. And that creates a massive amount of anxiety. Most people, especially young, undeveloped cops, they can't handle that anxiety. They have to fit in. So very early on, you are essentially being groomed or manipulated in a very, not everybody's malicious, but you're being manipulated or groomed by every trainer. Each trainer has got their own pet peeves and their own things they want you to do. And you're being taught, this is the way we do it. This is the way. One guy may tell you this, one guy may tell you that. They tell you if they're good FTOs, they'll say, well, take a little bit from this one, take a little bit from that one, and then use all the tools you've acquired to successfully navigate calls in your own career once you're on your own. But if it's done maliciously and, shortly out of FTO, you're going to get to a shift and you're going to get to a supervisor. And there begins the next level of fear. You're young. You're worried about your zone partners. You're worried about the people working next to you. Are they okay with you? Are you doing okay? Are you handling your calls? They'll begin to tell you, don't do this, don't do that. Or you should handle this that way. And again, underdeveloped, you start to go, oh my gosh, I have to do it this way. This person's going to get mad at me. It's very, very stressful. And that's at the very base level of law enforcement. That's just partner to partner. If you have an aggressive, mean, nasty partner, they're going to tell you, you're going to do this. This is the way we do it. Or if you have a very passive, they may be like, fuck it, don't do anything. You have to, again, develop and learn, where is my zone? Where's my line? Where do I get in here and do the right thing? Still scared to death, still all the while not trying to get killed, not trying to get in a crash, trying to go to your calls, trying to do all this and learn. And then certain supervisors, then you see a sergeant or a lieutenant. Their impact on you is going to be even more stressful. Think about, all of you that are cops, or if you're in a civilian world and you have a massive boss and you never see him, i.e. the sheriff or a chief, and then he's got minions underneath him that do whatever. Even in Publix you see, or food store, supermarket, you see like assistant manager of the deli, the manager, and the hierarchy. So all you have to go on is when you first start, is your local supervision, sergeant, lieutenant, and they begin to tell you and guide you, and hopefully it's in the right, it's done with good intentions. But if it's not, therein begins the grooming. And the grooming can go a lot of ways. The grooming can go, we're going to get this guy to do certain things. We're going to tell him this is the way we do things. We're going to get him to do it our way, for bad intentions. Or you're going to get him to go, you're going to do this, you're going to do the right things for good intentions. This is where I believe um, this is where a lot of the problems in law enforcement start. This is the beginning of the elevator process. Um, it's If this is done incorrectly with malicious intent, this is where the beginning of inappropriate comments and inappropriate gestures and little things start to get thrown around. And I'll be honest, in law enforcement, there's the walls are gone. There's no filters. A male and a female employee can pull up next to each other, having never spoke in their lives, and the conversation will immediately be, it is what it is. It can go 1,000 directions. Nobody usually has a filter. And some of that may be that's really their personalities. And some of that may be, well, I've been groomed or told I have to be able to handle these conversations. So I'm going to partake in them, even if it makes me uncomfortable. And this is the beginning of the problem. So you have a sergeant lieutenant that starts to say things like, you shouldn't do this, or you should look a certain way, or you should handle this way. Now you're really inclined to believe that. And your brain is now transformed into, well, I have to do this. This is my family. These are the people that would never do anything wrong to me. And it continues to grow. Um, and at some point, it becomes normal over and over and over, and then may become something extremely inappropriate or extremely borderline illegal that now gets presented to you. And, the Dom Izzo side of it is the Constitution, you do what's right, and I agree. You swore an oath, you did that, right, right. But you're a human being. And now you've been manipulated and groomed, and you've been told certain things about the agency. I always do that once an episode. You've been told this is how we do it. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that person, male or female. You don't want to do that. So now you're being groomed, manipulated, and now comes the sideways stuff. And I talked about this when I went on Ian Bix, and how I was told to, like, after years in the drug unit, I was, hey, buy some jackets for the girls up front. Use your buy money. I'm like, man, I told you. It was like, it doesn't seem, but go ahead. It's fine. It's fine. Just write it off as a payment, CI payment. And you know what? I admit it. Like, I was like, man, that doesn't seem right, but I'm not stealing. I'm giving it to somebody who needs, like, agency windbreakers in that case. I'm going to do it. But is that a test? And I believe it was from that person. But is it a test, and is it to see what's next? What will we tell him to do next, or what will we tell her to do next? And the fine line where it's going to split it, to me, is one is like that type of behavior, and two is like sexual harassment, and God knows what comes after that, where females are conditioned in this job to have to put up with a level of tolerance of improper comments and improper things. And if it starts very soon, I think it's easy for a female to go, hey, bro, nah, dog, we ain't playing that. But when it comes after this year of, like, anxiety, and I'm your supervisor or I'm your zone partner, and I'm going to tell you, like, this is how we do it. I'm taking you under my wing. And eventually it gets to a point where there's, and I'm not going to go into I'm not smart. I got a GED, but I know there's terms and, like I said, syndromes and big words that, smart people use, that it now creates a atmosphere to lead to other things. So, and that goes male and female. Now you got a guy, same thing, being, hey man, da da da. Maybe, hey, you don't want to do that on the report, like little things. And I get, we swore to an oath, we put our hand on the concept of Bible, we raise our hand, Constitution. I get it. And I'm not advocating for anybody to do anything wrong. I'm just explaining to you, everyone, that this happens. And I'm sure every cop watching understands this. And if you're a civilian, you can understand this as well in your hierarchy of your job. This harassment, this type of stuff it happens in every single company anywhere. So it's not just police related, although I'm the moron that became a cop instead of a fireman and I have police experience. So what happens? I'm going to fast forward because I want to be here all day, but that ongoing, that goes on for years and it becomes acceptable. And where I even kind of drew this is listening to part of a ceremony recently where somebody was talking and they actually got up and said this in a playful way about how a certain supervisor created an environment and said certain things, and it was presented as funny. It was like it was cool, but when you break down what was said, and I'm not going to go into it specifics right now, but it was exactly what I'm talking about. This supervisor had created an environment with just females where it was okay to say things that normally wouldn't be okay. And maybe 2 or 3 of the females are okay, maybe 1 isn't, but now they're part of that. And it can go for males, same thing. Males, you're same thing. I just know in that specific incident, it was said in public in front of thousands of people, and it was like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, that behavior is okay. So, when I say the elevator only goes down, how do you complain? You go file a complaint, right? And it's the old joke, you're gonna complain again, you're gonna complain about the government, and the government's gonna investigate themselves and tell you if they did something wrong. That doesn't happen. That's why there's 3 branches of the government, checks and balances in a company, in a sheriff's office, in a police department. That doesn't exist. It's a dictatorship. I don't care what anybody says, it is an absolute dictatorship run by a boss, and he has his own command staff, and they do whatever they want. Whatever they want. I pulled all the IAs in the last several years. And it's all being put together. So we're not doing that today, but it's coming. And I can show you black and white how these investigations go based on who you are and who you're in with. And that has nothing to do with mine. But how do you complain up? How do I, as a deputy, go? I just got mispunished, or I got mistreated, or my discipline was more severe than everybody else's. Where do you go? Where do the police go? You know where they go? They come to Copville and they tell me about it because I've got hundreds and hundreds, probably about 1,000, if I'm being serious, not exaggerating, stories very similar to what I'm saying about how this stuff happens within agencies and there's nothing they can do about it. Complain. Go ahead. Go and say, I'm being targeted. This is a hostile work environment. Go ahead. It ain't happening. You can write memos. They're not doing nothing with them. You can make complaints. We're going to get back to you on it. They don't have to get back to you. They don't have to do anything at the top level of these leadership positions to do anything for you. They have no duty. Like my buddy Steve on one of my podcasts comes in all the time. Steve says, self-proclaimed heroes have no duty to act or no duty to protect anybody. These agencies have no duty to do anything for you going down. Going up, you have an obligation to be on time, all the policies, obedient, listen, abide by everything they tell you, or else. Going down, there's nothing, nothing, nothing. And a lot of people want me to break down this incident that just happened in our county, and someday we will. And maybe in there you'll see things that maybe don't jive. I know a lot of things I've seen in the news, and people point out things that aren't lining up, or not lining up, but look bad. Who is going to investigate that? Nobody. Maybe us as of civilians, but get back on topic is like, how do you complain against the entity? You don't. I was sitting here thinking about this before I hit record, and I think about it like when you're playing blackjack. The house has all the money. The house has all the rules right there in front of you. They have all the chips. They have all these quirky little rules that give you like a 1% chance of winning, right? But that place is full all day with people running up there with that 1% chance. Very similar. You're sitting here, you want to be a hero, you want to help people, all the things, cool things you said in your job application about why you wanted to do this. You want to do this. The house has all the money. The house has all the rules. They have a policy manual this thick. They have a statute book this thick. They have on the fly decisions being made by people that are just in positions. Most of them just because they're friends with somebody or they're in with somebody, they got there. You're playing blackjack with your life in this career, and you're hoping to, I mean, I guess just break even. The pension is just breaking even. The loss is getting killed, getting indicted, getting fired. The wins every day are, what are the wins? The wins are protecting people, but it doesn't do much for you. The wins are, being a good person so that, you handle the call. I guess it goes it's almost the same thing, just by helping people. Honestly, the dumbest thing that we ever say when we want to become a cop, but that's the wins. And then at the very end is the jackpot, which is the pension. So you're playing a 1% game, 1% chance of winning game for 25, 30, 32 years, with the payout being 75% of what you paid in or what you accumulated over those years. Think about that in a gambling term. Think about that. You're playing with your life. You're gambling your life every day. Your family, your house, being sued, being arrested, being demoted, being humiliated in public. You're playing that game every day with the house having a 99% advantage. And you're going at it for 25 years to get to a jackpot. And the jackpot is, you don't even get all of it. It's like winning the lottery. You see that big number up there, you're like, man, I get full retirement. I get all this stuff. It's way up there. I see it. It's way out there. I'm scratching the tickets. I'm playing double down. You're playing that game for 25 years. And you get 75% in my agency or the FRS, you get 75% of your best 8 years now averaged out. And you have to pay taxes still. And you have to pay your own health insurance still. That's the game. I think gambling makes more sense. You're better off taking your paycheck every week and just throwing it on the blackjack table. Seems safer. Because like I said, when you're dealing with all that stuff, you can't, when you're like, man, this isn't right. What are you going to go to the casino and be like, hey man, this isn't right. I want this. You need to change these rules. They don't help me. No, they don't care. They're like, no, you're going to keep playing. You're going to suck it up. You're going to keep playing. No, you're going to come back. Are you going to leave? No, you're not going to leave. There's an ATM. Go get more money. You're going to go get more money. That's what cops do. You continuously sit at that table playing that game, and you can't complain. You just got to take it. And it's unbelievable what goes on in these places. So then you try to complain, and then that goes a million directions. What are you going to do? You're going to go you're going to walk up to your sergeant and tell him he's full of shit? Well, you should, but how's that going to go? What's he going to say? Well, yeah, he's going to say, yeah, whatever. Or, if it's genuine, there are good supervisors. I'm not knocking them all. They're great supervisors. But for the most part, okay, yeah, well, I'll fix it. Kind of like arguing with your spouse or whoever, hey, you're not paying enough attention. Yeah, I'll pay enough attention. And we're all guilty of it. But like, yeah, I'm the one that needs more attention. We kind of play the game. So that kind of goes to the same thing. You're complaining about something to them. Go above them. Yep. I want you to think now. It's easy. Just go to the top, complain. We have an open door policy. We're going to take care of you. Yeah. Let me know how that works out. Go ahead and go to a captain and complain about a lieutenant or a sergeant. It's not going to go well. From my experience, they all talk. They're all in cahoots. It's organized crime. They're all in bed together. They're going to pretend. They're going to put on the show. Oh, yeah, we're going to address this. They don't do anything. And now what are you? You're not part of the team anymore because you complained about somebody. You made a complaint against the team. You broke the family code. Doesn't matter you being abused. Doesn't matter you being treated like shit. All that matters is you now broke the code, the brotherhood. You're a bad person. And this usually happens to good cops. because it's usually the good cops that see dumb shit and have the ones that say, you know what, this is wrong. I'm going to speak up about it. You're not a good cop anymore. You're a piece of shit. So it's like a organized crime cult mentality that this now happens, and now you're done. You're done. I remember working with really bad human beings, people that don't work there anymore. Really bad human beings, people that harassed women and did terrible things. And when they were complained on by one of their people, it's a tale as old as time. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm not landing on the moon for the first time, because it would be the first time. What I'm telling you is they are then labeled as snitches. She can't take a joke. He can't take a joke. He's this, he's that. Adds to everything I said at the beginning of this episode. Anxiety. Now people are like, I better not go talk to her. She's this. I better not go talk to him. He's this. But is he? Is he wrong because he stood up and spoke out? And I'm talking about not bullshit. I'm talking about legit complaints, because there are people who cry wolf, and it's funny word. There's people who cry wolf, and it doesn't warrant it. But there's people who speak out, but it doesn't. The elevator doesn't go that way. You go ahead and submit whatever you want. Milo Thornton. Milo Thornton is the deputy chief, St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office, and he ran for sheriff. And one of the main reasons I'm not at the sheriff's office anymore is because I supported publicly Milo Thornton, and I got railroaded afterwards. Milo Thornton got put in an internal affairs investigation, investigated by who? Those people. And they didn't sustain anything. They couldn't sustain anything. Massive hostile work environment, massive investigation. He was a deputy chief here as well. From that, he got demoted to captain without cause. Do they have to have cause? I guess not. They can do whatever they want, right? Without cause. I will tell you, hopefully mark this 20, hopefully I'll clip this 21, 22 minutes in. I will tell you that was a political assassination attempt against Milo. How do I know that? Because the Indiana County Sheriff, Eric Flowers, asked me to find dirt on Milo during that time after he was found unfounded on the IAs, and he was told he was demoted for garbage. Took his money, demoted him, humiliated him. I was asked by Indiana County Sheriff Eric Flowers to go out, seek out, and try to find anything possible on Milo. And the quote was, I need to fire this guy before this election. That happened. That phone call was made to me from him. I don't know if Eric Flowers is dumb. Well, he is dumb. I don't know what goes on in his brain. And he didn't think who he was saying that to. Milo Thornton slept on my couch when we were kids, when we were in high school. Milo Thornton graduated the same year as my mother of all four of my children, my ex-wife. We were extremely tight. I worked with Milo Thornton at Vero Beach Police Department, and we were tight. And he came to my home, and he slept on my couch, and we went places, and we hung out. We were very good friends. And he's never, to this day, that was 1996 was the first graduating class, 95, 90, somewhere in there, 95, 96 was the first graduating class of whatever, Sebastian. I mean, I've known this man since before I joined the military. He has never, to this day, December 3rd, 2005, ever crossed me, never sold me out. He has been a good person to me, my children, my family. My kids graduated high school. He was the first one to walk up and find them and congratulate them on the field. He was a political target by this administration. And I was asked to help find dirt to fire Milo Thornton by the sheriff of Indiana County. Fact, told to me, and I can verify that because I actually called somebody I know. And after I had the conversation, said, "Hey man, this dude just told me this." Like I didn't call Milo. And the reason I didn't is because I didn't believe Milo was in trouble. I knew Milo didn't do anything wrong. I knew he was a good dude. But I will take blame because I do take blame and feel and guilt that I was scared. I was in with some really nasty people, the current administration of the sheriff's office. Um, I was scared. I was scared and I made a cowardly move on my own part to not speak. I did tell Milo eventually, he knows, but I was scared at the time. And that's a shortcoming on my part. Milo's never held that against me, but it was very difficult for me to know that was going on behind closed doors. And but they had already done what they did. They couldn't touch him anymore. And then my whole spinoff at this point was Milo then filed a massive, massive complaint against the sheriff's office while he still worked there for targeting, hostile work environment, and all that. To this day, to this day, to this day, it was never investigated. Never once was it investigated, not by anybody. Nobody looked into it. Complete, massive internal affairs investigation. The dude sat home on admin leave for months, trapped in his home, feeling like a piece of garbage for months. Let me tell you about Milo real quick. Milo Thornton was a patrol sergeant, lieutenant, patrol captain. His qualifications far exceed Eric Flowers every single step of the way. Every way. He worked the street. He knows what it's like to be in pursuits. He knows what it's like to respond to use of force calls. He knows what it's like to manage people. I don't care if you like him or dislike him. His qualifications far exceed Eric Flowers. Every single one of them, down to the integrity and character that we have seen from this sheriff, they far exceed Milo 2028. But nothing was done as a result of Milo's complaint. They never investigated it. That's a problem. Who do you go to? I learned this recently because next week, if you tune in, it's going to be really good. Who do you go to as a deputy, whatever? You have to sue the agency, maybe. I know there's a lieutenant local that's suing the agency, another agency close by, and he's, but he's got his whole career done. He can leave any day. You're a 2, 3, 4, 5-year deputy, and you're going to go at your agency. Well, I know another lady, Melissa Stewart, who went at her agency. She sued him. I believe she has a right to sue again. She was targeted in multiple investigations, and she was fired 2 weeks ago. Fired. I believe it was racially motivated. She's a black female. I believe it was racially motivated by a supervisor. And I believe she was targeted because she didn't get on board with that garbage. I'm not defending anything else about her. I'm not going to go deep into that. I know she's a very, very nice person. I know there's people at this agency that have done things 1,000 times worse than her that should be fired, that are still working. I have the IAs right out there. I'm actually right here now. I used to have 2 computers. I'm right here. We'll get to those. I know people at the sheriff's office right now that are working, that have lied on their application, that I've been able to point out in public records request. That's coming. I've a massive disparity in discipline based on who you are and how it's handled. Melissa Stewart being one of them versus other people at the sheriff's office who have done far worse things, have all the IAs, and their discipline has been far less. People that commit crimes on duty, far less. So we'll get to that. But my point being is, who do? You sue. Melissa's gone. Gone. I actually joked with her because she was on her day off. I said, how you get fired on your day off? She actually got written up and had an IA launched against her on her day off once at a barbecue. But anyway, there's no way to complain up. You can't go up. So what do? Attorney General's office will tell you to pound sand. Can't complain against them. FDLE, pound sand. The governor's office, pound sand. They won't listen. The only place a cop can go in Florida, or anybody can go about elected official, is the Commission on Ethics. And you basically have to sign your firstborn child over and go through a bazillion hoops to actually file a complaint with the Commission on Ethics. It's very, very difficult. You have to sign a sworn affidavit, which shouldn't have a problem with it if it's true. Sworn affidavit, you have to send in everything, but you have to be very careful about how you word it. If there's multiple people involved in the complaint, it has to be very structured to each one. So if you're going to complain on, let's say hypothetically, your sheriff and undersheriff and 3 captains did XYZ to you, and you want to file a complaint against them all, can't be in the same complaint. You'd have to go Complaint one, here's everything against person one. Complaint here, this person, here's everything. It cannot be colluded or mention anything about the other. It's very difficult. Is it difficult for a reason? I don't know. These are the people that are supposed to uphold the Constitution in the community and lead police officers and run this place so that it's effective and has good customer service for our folks. But it's not done like that, and it's impossible. The other option is just file a complaint directly with the state attorney's office. So the state attorney, whose buddies politically elected for each circuit, all friends with the sheriffs, all friends with the chiefs. They're all buddies. They go golfing, they go drinking, whatever else they do. You're supposed to file a direct complaint with them. Basically, we're back to the same thing. You're asking the government to investigate itself. It doesn't work. I know for a fact that a local reporter, filed a complaint against a local government official for violating the sunshine laws and illegally deleting stuff and all that. And you saw it happen to me. And they told him, yeah, it's illegal, but we're not investigating it. We're not doing with it. They get away with it. Sounds minimal, right? Oh, it just deleted a picture. Or he's just using an app to block his messages so that they beat the public. It's just nothing big. It's just nothing big. It's just nothing big until it's Johnny Q Zone guy who slips up and says the F word or has a little slick mouth and a little statement flies out of your mouth. I don't know, like put your wife up or something silly like that. If that slips out, that's considered a massive problem. And it's dealt with by the elevator crashing down on the people at the bottom. That is a big deal. But other people breaking the law, like supervisors and or administrators and sheriffs and chiefs, it's nuts. Sean Reyes is currently at it with Melbourne. Sean Reyes is a Long Island auditor, great dude. Melbourne Council, the mayor is funneling money through nonprofit, taking in nonprofit donations, going to Habitat for Humanity, and then Habitat for Humanity is writing the mayor's roofing company ten and thousands of dollars of checks. It's all there. It's in black and white. You can watch it on Sean Reyes's platform, the Long Island Auditor. I watched it last night. He's right in the mayor's. He's right there. The mayor recluses himself and leaves the meeting. Won't talk to Reyes. He's scared of him, and he has the black and white paper to show that the crime is being committed. Nobody cares. It only goes down. It doesn't go up. So what do we do? That's where I guess politics and elections and all that come in, and hopefully everybody watching, you have to get involved in this. You have a phone, you have Facebook, you have social media. You have to get involved in this. And if you're a young cop, you have to speak up, and you have to take the story to me or another platform of Sean Reyes or anybody, Adam Izzo. Get the information out. We can't hide behind it. They despise me. What have I said? What have I said that's wrong? Just like the old saying, they can call me a lot of things, but they can't call me a liar, because not once has anyone said, I can tell you that Dilks is full of shit. I can show you right here he's lying, and wait till next week because I got it in black and white. They call me a lot of things. I'm a crook. I'm a TikTok cop. I'm a demoted. I threw an old guy on the ground. I'm a steroid freak, whatever you want to call me. You can't call me a liar. You cannot, because I have it all. And I have the time to pile the data up and show everybody what's going on, just like Marvin Gaye said, what's going on. And I know what's going on. There's a lot of crazy things going on. It's going on throughout the country. But to stay on topic, this is what one of the biggest problems in law enforcement. This is one of the biggest problems in law enforcement. And it creates anxiety, depression, suicide, PTSD, all while the same people I just told you about that cannot be investigated, that are too big to fail, they tell you, we're here. We have mental health counseling for you. We're going to take care of you. We have a team to help you. How about not being a piece of shit? That would be great. That would start right out of the rip. We'd have a lot less issues if you guys just weren't pieces of shit. But that's not the answer. The answer is we're gonna investigate you for whatever we want. You can never complain on us. You can submit memos. You can submit complaints. We're never going to investigate them. We don't care. Nobody's ever going to come in and hold us accountable. But if you're having a bad day and the job is getting to you, we got something for you. We're going to counsel you. We're going to send you to our own counselors that we know, and we're going to get you better. Man, oh man, what is going on? How is that possible? So some will say Tyler likes to call me an ideas guy. I got a lot of ideas, but sometimes I do have, some recourse to go with those ideas. Probably didn't use that word right.